Okay, so hello guys and welcome to today's video. Now in this video we are going to be discussing the basic chord types. So let's get into it. Okay, so the basic chord types. There's three basic chord types that we're going to be covering in this series. The first chord is a major chord. The second chord is a minor chord. And then the third chord is a minor 7 flat 5 chord. So with these three chords, these are the main chords you would use to play a major scale. So with how we learn major scales, what the major scale is. So these are the three chords that you'd use to play the major scale in a chord-like fashion. So remember in the last episode, I was playing a few chords over like the C sharp and C major scale. So in this video, we're going to understand what those chords are and why it fits and why it sounds the particular way it does. So as we said, that there's three chords. So let's begin with the first chord. Or even before we begin with the first chord, with these three chords, the chord can be expressed in, let's say, two forms. The first form is in a triad form. And then the second form is its full form. So the full form of a chord has 4 notes. In triad, it's 3 notes. So for each chord, I'll tell you the triad form of the 3 notes and then the full chord. For those who want to know, there's also a PowerPoint or there's a PDF for this available. Link is in the description. Make sure you go look at it because I believe it will also help you out as well. Okay, so let's look at the first chord, a major chord. So once again, we're going to be using C major scale to go through all of this. So we're going to work out a C major chord. Okay, so a major chord, it's because if you from the number system as well, you would know that we're going to be using numbers. So the major chord is the first, third, and fifth note. So that's the triad form. First, third, and fifth note of whichever chord you're trying to make. So if it's a C major chord you want to make, it's going to be the first, third, and fifth of the C major scale. If it's a D major chord you're going to make, it's going to be the first, third, and fifth note of the D major scale. So let's make the C major chord, the triad form. So first, third, and fifth. So the C major chord we have is this. So as you remember, the third of C is E, and then the fifth note in C major is G. So a C major chord is going to be C, E, G. That's a triad form. Now the full chord is called a seventh. So what does it mean? You add the seventh. And the seventh note in the C major scale is what? B. So this is the full C major chord. So let's play the triad form again. C, E, G. And then the full chord is with the B on top, the seventh. So that's a C major chord. So now let's talk about minor chords. So a minor chord is very, very similar to a major chord, but in the triad form, there's a difference of 1 note, and that 1 note is the third. So instead of playing the third, what we're going to do is we're going to flat the third. So if you remember, a flat is what? The next descending note. So if we take the C major chord, so remember C, E, and G in triad form. So if we're going to play a minor chord, it's a flat third. So it's going to be what? The 2 sharp. So you could call it 2 sharp or the flat third, whichever you prefer. So this is a minor chord. So this is C minor in triad form. This is C minor in triad form. Now, in full form, in the 4-note form, as a full chord, the same concept applies. So instead of playing the 7th as you would in the C major chord, so remember in triad, in the triad form of C minor, we have this, so C, D sharp, and G. But in the 7th form, in full form, instead of playing B, we're going to flat the B as well. So there we have A sharp. So this is the C minor 7 chord. C minor 7. So now you may be wondering, why did I call it a C minor 7, but the 7 is not the 7th note, or I'm playing the 6 sharp instead of the 7? And if you had that question, that's a very good question, and I'll explain it to you now. So with the minor chord, there's also something that's called a minor scale. So let me run you quickly over the minor scale of C. It applies to all other keys as well, or all other notes. It's the same theory behind it all. So if we're going to work out C minor, the C minor chord, C minor scale is like this. So C is our first note, D is our second note, D sharp or E flat is our third note, F is our fourth note, G is our fifth note, G sharp is our sixth note, A sharp is our 7th note, and C is where we get back to the chord. So let's try and give the minor scale in like a tone, tone, semitone structure. So let's work it out. So C, we have a tone to D, then a semitone. So the first block is tone, semitone. Then from D sharp we have tone to F, then tone again, then semitone to A to G sharp, then tone, tone. So the C minor formula, minor scale formula is tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Let's go over that again. So from C we have tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. One more time. So from C, so C minor we have tone, then semitone, then tone, tone, semitone, tone, and tone. So with those notes, what we call a minor scale now makes sense as a minor 7, because remember C is our first note, and well, then the chord structure is actually all the same now, because when you think of C minor, a C minor chord in the minor method, then it's 1, 3, 5, 7. But what tends to be easier for a lot of us beginners is if we reference all notes according to the major scale. So that's why I said that, yeah, this is a C minor 7. So that's just a bit of minor scale for you. If you'd like to use that anywhere else, feel free. But yeah, so this is the C minor chord. So C, D sharp, G, and then in full form, you add the 6 sharp. If you're talking in major terms, the 6 sharp is the A sharp. Now, the third chord we're going to discuss is the minor 7 flat 5. So, we just spoke about the C minor chord, and now we're talking about C minor 7 flat 5. So, it's almost the same as the C minor chord, but the difference is with the flat 5. So remember, in C minor, it was the 1, the 2 sharp, and the 5. But if it's a flat 5, what do? We take this 5 and we descend by 1 semitone. So this is the C minor flat 5 in triad form. Then in full form, just take your minor chord, C minor 7, 5. So that's the C minor 7 flat 5 chord. So those are the 3 basic chords. As I said before, or if I haven't mentioned, there's a PDF for this, so I would advise you guys to go and check it out. And yeah, I believe it's going to help you a lot, because I think I've explained things very well there, in case you haven't understood this video very well. So go and check it out, and yeah, let's just go through the 3 chords once again. So C major chord in triad form, C, E, G, the 1, 3, 5. In full form with the 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7. C major 7. Minor chord, basically the same as the major chord, but you flat the 3rd. Okay, so C, we have E, but we flat it, so D sharp. Then we have G. So this is C minor. If we're going to play C minor 7, when we talk about it in major terms, so when we describe each note in according to the major scale, it's the same. We have the 2 sharp, the 5, and the 6 sharp. Or if we want to describe the C minor chord in minor framework or in minor terms, it's still the 1, 3, 5, and 7, as explained earlier. Okay, so now the minor 7 flat 5 chord. So once we have your minor chord, then we know it's a flat 5. What we have to do to the chord is in its name. You flat the 5. So C, D sharp, F sharp. Then if we're going to play the full chord, at the 7th or at the 6th sharp. So that's the full chord. So those are the 3 chords. Now in the next video, we are going to be applying these chords. So application of these chords is basically the most important thing now. So you know the chords. Now let's apply these chords so that you can actually play something meaningful knowing these chords. So I'll see you in the next video.